Good
Hi,
morning.
sis. Good morning. Okay, we're back in the review, lesson 205. And sis, did you want to read this one for the fam?
Sure.
You.
I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And our review lesson will be from lesson 185, which is I want the peace of God. And Sis and I were just saying, it feels like we just did this yesterday. I want the peace of God, right?
Yeah, it does.
So that's good. Yeah. The peace of God is everything I want. The peace of God is my one goal, the aim of all my living here, the end I seek, my purpose and my function and my life, while I abide where I am not at home. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Yeah, so maybe we might dig into the review lesson 185, I want the peace of God.
Can I just interject something that I heard just while you're reading? This is as far as mythical me can go. This is the furthest along that we can arrive where we desire, and desire is what we experience. When we desire the peace, that is that status of there is nothing in this world that I want. I need to be still a moment and give audience to the voice for Holy Spirit, because I don't know what anything is for. I'm not going to make any decisions. I'm not going to move without my right mind, because I know how that's going to end up, right? It's I want the peace of God. And that peace of God is that fertile ground. That's the scouring out, making room for truth and love, which is what we are, to enter into the mind. So peace is that precursor that's accompanied with the entrance of love and truth. They are there already, but while we're defending and keeping our mind busy on body thoughts and being distracted, there is no room for that. So this is why this is so important, because this is the culmination of what mythical me comes to, and it's the only decision that we can make, and we need to make that ultimate decision with all our heart. And it's interesting because I see this, the world would be completely changed should any two agree. These words express the only thing they want. So where two or more are joined, the I is there, and the I is declaring, I want the peace of God and nothing else. That means we have exhausted this gap. There's nothing in this gap that we want more than the peace of God. And if two people come to that recognition simultaneously, he's saying the world would be healed.
Not just a few people.
The world, the sun, that would be the awakening.
Well, that hasn't happened yet. Right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, the fear of God, right? The fear of God is we're talking about those obstacles to peace, and they're all centered around the body. And so it's really surmounting this incessant, very tenacious belief that we are this body figure, but it is doable. It is doable when we recognize through holy relationship that the body offers us nothing that we want, in contrast to the love we experience when we're willing to join with the brother beyond the body.
Right. So backing up a bit, sis.
Yes.
We can't really rest in the peace of God. We won't know the peace of God until such time as we have honest relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And the first honest relationship is with ourselves.
Yes.
Most of us live under a tyranny of self-denial and self-betrayal and self-abandonment.
Can you give some examples to the people who are listening right now about, specifics that they can relate to?
I can't even remember.
Okay. So, the people pleasing, every time we abandon ourselves because we want somebody else to like us or to approve of us, when we communicate wearing a certain mask for, I show up one way with this one part of my life, I compartmentalize. I'm very spiritual with my family, spiritual family, but I'm totally different when I go to the office. These are all ways in which we send that message to ourselves that as ourself, we are unworthy, we are flawed, we don't want the world to see that. And certainly we're not love. And we place it outside of ourselves and we're just trying to be everything for everyone. Okay, that's that abandonment of the self. And we first have to learn how to cultivate an honest, authentic relationship with ourself, allowing ourselves to say, do, think, and move in accordance with how we truly feel. And that's that 7 keys to authentic relating we keep harping about, which is down below in the list of resources.
The 7 keys of authentic relating.
Yes.
That is, it's a prerequisite for peace.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I do recall, not much, but I do recall in my earlier special relationships,
Mm-hmm.
really abandoning myself, betraying myself to try and meet the needs of the partner to keep the specialness going. Yeah. Right. It wasn't until many years later that I realized I was a peacemaker. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us are peacemakers, but it's the ego's peace that we're trying to keep.
Yeah. Keeping the family together so that we can feel somewhat safe in turmoil.
Somewhat safe in turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me just see here if I've got some notes. Yeah. Okay, the necessary prerequisite to feel the peace of God is the acceptance of our changeless innocence. And we've said this many, many times before. It's not just an intellectual acceptance. It has to be the felt state. There has to be, we know we've accepted our changeless and incorruptible innocence when we can sit in that stillness. Mm-hmm. And there's a kind of a very quiet joy that enfolds us gently with its wings. Mm-hmm. And in that we know, it's a felt experience, we know that there is absolutely no way that we could be threatened by anyone or anything, including the body, right? It's that peace that, because we know we're not guilty. Mm-hmm. And because we know, sorry, I should back up a bit. We know there is no sin.
Right.
We know we've never sinned. Not for an instant. Mm-hmm. We know it. Not just here, but in our heart. We know it. We've made mistakes. Mm-hmm. But of course, they can be corrected the instant we want to be wrong about those mistakes.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
So then we know we've never sinned. We agree, we accept, we receive that, right? Therefore, we are not guilty. There's no one to blame. And in that, fear disappears. There's nothing to fear. Mm-hmm. Fear is an impossibility. So there's this felt state of infinite fearlessness. And in that fearlessness, there's the innocence. And there's the peace. Yeah. We can really rest in the peace of God.
And the way I've reached that is recognizing that anytime I hear the word sin, I immediately think of separation. And it's the understanding, even for an instant, that you feel that how the truth that the separation is an impossibility. For just a moment, you get a sense of the nature of God and your relationship to God and how separation is impossible. And from that, there's that spark of, well, there's no guilt then. I've never left. I'm not this mythical me. I've never left. God's answer was inconceivable. And fear, can't be in a mind that knows its innocence. Only guilt breeds the fear. And innocence is guilt's opposite. From innocence just flows love.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, and maybe we should recommend the End of Fear guided meditation.
Oh, yeah.
In the list of resources down below.
It's in there. It's already in there. Yeah. Yeah. The End of Fear guided meditation. It's very powerful. Yep. Yeah. Audio link.
Wow. Okay.
Did you hear something?
I saw somebody standing right next to me here. Okay.
Hi, welcome.
Welcome.
Yes.
Somebody wants to be in on this lesson.
Apparently. Looking back on the highlights in this lesson, the mind which means that all it wants is peace must join with other minds, for that is how peace is attained. That's powerful. That's the proof again. We need our brother. There's no solitary peace.
Oh, there's the bullseye right there, sis.
Yeah.
There's no solitary peace. It's like healing. There's no private, personal healing.
Yes.
Healing is shared. Peace must also be shared. Right. Oh, that's so freeing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. He says, and when the wish for peace is genuine, the means for finding it is given in a form each mind which seeks for it in honesty can understand. Whatever form the lesson takes is planned for him in such a way that he cannot mistake it if his asking is sincere. Love it.
So that's where that discipline comes in, or that vigilance that we were talking about in yesterday's lesson.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything blocking our genuine acceptance of the peace of God, which, or our genuine acceptance of union with another, which is God, then we've got to go deeper and look at our desire. Do we really want to be wrong about the existence that we believe we have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's interesting. A lot of us have self-doubt, and I'm not through it completely yet myself, right? Self-doubt's always the ego. Yeah. But the self-doubt, is still something we want, right? Self-doubt is or unworthiness, this belief that we're unworthy.
Yeah. Because
if we really do believe we're unworthy, then we are going to fight like crazy against the peace of God.
Right.
Yeah. But, I mean, we've got to get to that place, genuinely get to that place where we desire to be wrong about our need for self-doubt.
Yes, self-doubt would just keep that door just a little bit open for the ego, and it's enough to prevent the miracle from occurring. It's just enough to keep a little bit of fear in the mind, which is all fear. right? You entertain 1% and that's the ego. I'm telling you, I'm seeing it so clearly now. One doubt in God or the holy self seems to interrupt, love from flowing. And so we can be vigilant for that. Just understand that that's what it's doing. That's what it seeks for us, and be unequivocal in our choice of, he asks further on in this lesson, is this what I would have in place of heaven and the peace of God? I mean, we need to ask ourselves that. Just the last couple lessons was very powerful for me. And I noticed that as soon as I have this where I feel like I'm touching heaven, experiencing something real, it's usually the next day that something will emerge in my experience that gives me an opportunity that I wasn't aware that was still there. So here it is, desiring, reveling in the peace of God. And then something in my experience will show me, oh, did you know that this was still there? And the ego would say, oh, something's wrong. This is bad. You're screwing up. You're not getting it. No. It's absolutely, he's talking about like when you really mean it, the lesson's going to come in response to your desire to show you where you're still blocked from experiencing that peace. Did you know that you were still cherishing this story from the past? Oh, so it's all for you. It's an answer to your desire for the peace of God, because you can't have that peace while that boulder is still lurking in, from the illusory past or the body or whatever. I just want to encourage you that nothing's wrong when that happens. It's for you.
So actually, in actual fact, when there is an ego backlash like that, it's a gift.
It's an answer to what we asked for. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he says to devote your practice. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go, sis.
Because he's asking us in following this lesson, the practice periods is for careful searching of your mind to find the dreams you cherish still. And Holy Spirit will bring these up. Your brothers will show you where you still are harboring something, some cherished idol in the gap. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's good. I don't have anything to say. Yeah, thank you, sis.
All right. And take comfort. No one who truly seeks the peace of God can fail to find it. For he merely asks that he deceive himself no longer by denying to himself what is God's will. Who can remain unsatisfied? Who asks for what he has already? Who could be unanswered? Who requests an answer which is his to give? The peace of God is yours. For you it was created, given you by its creator, and established as his own eternal gift. How can you fail when you but ask for what he wills for you? I love that.
And then he goes on to say that, and how could your request be limited to you alone?
No.
No gift of God can be unshared. It is this attribute that sets the gifts of God apart from every dream that ever seemed to take the place of truth. No one can lose, and everyone must gain whenever any gift of God has been requested and received by anyone. God gives but to unite. That's it.
Wow.
Only to unite. That's what the peace of God.
So it won't come to us unless our desire is to receive it and to share it. I want the peace of God. I want it for the entire sonship. And because that's God's will, that's where we're in alignment with that will. And we discover, okay, that peace of God, I already have that. But as long as I want to privatize it, capture it just for myself, I'll never know it. Yeah.
So, I think the whole idea of all gifts of God must be shared. I'm feeling into the miracle impulse here. The miracle impulse, which is available to us all the time, but we block it through the ego, mythical me, and the gap, wanting idols in the gap, etc. What I'm just feeling into this right now is that in that the whole thing of sharing underscores everything in the process of awakening.
Yes.
Right? Real awakening. Well, I never saw this before because somehow or another I used to think, like most people do, that there's a private awakening that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no private awakening that happens. It has to be shared, and it's through our desire to share that the awakening naturally occurs.
Yes. That's this path, right? This is the mythical me ascending that ladder, and he comes to this place where you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. And then we think, this is my private awakening. I've arrived. I've got it. Oh my gosh, this is fantastic. And we're waiting for God to take the last step. And that's when I heard Jesus chuckle and said, that's half of it. It's about, you've got to go back down into the realm of the symbols of separation, but bring this light with you into your function with divine love and share. This is the extension, bringing it back and knowing that I can't keep this if I would have it just for myself. If I want to keep what I've just seen, I have to go and give liberally to every brother. And then when you give and you see the miracles that arise as you give to your brothers, that's where your mind becomes certain of what it is that you received up here. You're still like, yes, this is awesome, but you don't know it because it isn't yours yet. It only becomes yours when you give it and share it. Then you get to keep it. Keeping it is your certainty. When you walk around as the certainty of the Christ I am, that's Jesus in the world. And then God will come take that step when your function has been completed. So this is really prevalent.
So sis, I love this diagram. And
I just asked Nancy to make a formal.
There's a couple of other bits in there. So I'll work with you
Sure.
on that. But hold the diagram up again. So what I'm seeing, I might have mentioned this before, is I'm seeing at the halfway mark at the top, that's pretty much where people become self-realized, become enlightened. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But then they may get sick, the body may get sick and of course cause their physical death.
Yes.
They have no control over the body, right?
Right.
They don't know yet that the body's an idea in their mind, and that when they've done the second leg of the journey, which is what they came to teach, that is when they realize that the body is in their mind completely, and there's no guilt left because they've shared their love, their awakening. That is when they have reversed the thinking of the world, right? So
yes.
Effect and cause have been reversed.
Switched, yes.
Okay, so at the top mark is where we awaken in the dream, and then the second half of the journey is where we awaken from the dream.
Yes.
So that's the relapse.
And you can see why people would park it. Sorry for lack of a better word, but this is the part that we're terrified of. This is because we're terrified still of this divine love that would cost us the very last remnants of who we think we are. Oh, I'm an enlightened individual. Okay, the individual is what is surrendered through divine love, because this is true joining beyond bodies and the proof of it. We're terrified of the proof of divine love because the world and all sense of ourself as we know it is gone. So better to exit stage left through death than actually embody that love and give yourself up to the one son that we are. Yeah, I can really, yeah. This is good enough.
I think I might have done that a couple of times.
I know I have.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm hanging in.
Come in with some cellular memory that goes, I am not doing exit at the halfway mark this time. I am not doing that exit.
Yes.
I am going all the way this time, as Jesus came in to teach us. And holy relationship represents that final victory lap.
This right, because the payoff from holy relationship is what keeps you here. It keeps you in your function. It keeps you here. It keeps you like, I know I'm not this body, but I've got to function. We're in service. We're in service to the sonship because of the Father's will, which is ours. And you guys are giving us that, like the joining and the sharing, the felt state of beyond the bodies, communication beyond, words, is what keeps our desire singular only for this.
We love, okay, thank you. In that last victory lap, we get to experience a love for our brother that's so great that we make a commitment not to abandon them.
Yes.
And that means we will abandon our brother in sickness, in pain, in lack, and in death.
Yes.
Yes.
Boy,
so we have no commitment. Without our brother, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just excited because I feel like I know that that's absolutely true. There's times where I've joined with sisters and brothers and I wasn't, it seemed like the body didn't feel well. And my commitment to them was greater than the ego's pull of bring the blanket over your head and hide out in the fetal position. No, I'm not. I will not use the body as the billboard to frighten my brother or sister. It was the love that induced you. Get up, sit up, turn the light on, be present. You don't have to go down that rabbit hole. And I didn't. And there was the healing. So it was beyond self-interest. That's the key.
That's it. That's it. I love my brother too much to be sick.
Yeah. Or to frighten, or to separate, or to condemn, or to increase their guilt.
Oh, geez, because that's what it does. I mean, no guilt. I mean, no self-judgment. But if I really do believe that I'm suffering, then I inadvertently, in a way, am also, like you said, stating this billboard that says to my brother or sister, listen, you're guilty.
Behold me, brother, at your hand I die. What we did is causing my death, and it's going to cause yours too. So
yeah. That's chapter 27 in the text. Yeah. One of my favorite chapters. At first, not so much, but it's now, of course, I love it.
Yeah.
But there's not to be any self-judgment here either.
No.
Okay. It's but joining with a brother or sister in this is where it's healed. Really, really healed by the love that we want to extend to our brother or sister. Actually heals the two of us. Yeah. Both of us. Well, actually, it ripples out.
And we could on the diagram we could put, this is the path of truth. I mean, this is figuring it out and getting it. It's like, oh my gosh, I've got it now. I totally awake. But until you've done the second leg, which is the love. Love is the path where God takes the last step. You can't have just half the equation. And you see a lot of people hiding out at this place, but still using it unwittingly for separation. Yeah, we go all in our service to the sonship because of love.
Wow, that's so helpful, sis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like it. Thank you. Okay, where are we? What?
Well,
Hey,
Well,
that was it. I want the peace of God more than anything.
that's it.
Yeah. Thanks, sis.
Oh,
Thank you.
gee, that was fun.
I know. I just love it when we get rolling like that because I get all start buzzing around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hope you received it and trust that you did. Know that you did. And thank you. Thank you guys for being here.
Oh, something just came through.
Ooh, what was it?
Is one way to really increase the chances of holy relationship, beginning to open our heart to it, would be to study the text of A Course in Miracles
Well, who's
together.
doing that? Who in their right mind would do that?
I think Coreen Walson, aka the Christ.
Oh, right. Okay. Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Come join me, you guys. I'm lonely without you. Come be with me as we make our way through the text and Course in Miracles. It's on Thursday nights, 6 p.m. in my Zoom room. You can register on the nouksanchez.com website if you want to get the recordings. All the information will be down below for you to register. And we're going to have a kick-ass time. We're going to just take this course right apart with Jesus. Yep.
I'm going to join you.
Yay. Yes.
Some of it, not all of it, but some. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we want you there as much as we can have you. Thanks, sis. Yeah. So sign up. Come along. This is going to be awesome. In fact, it is awesome, right? We've already started this.
It is awesome.
It is awesome. Yes. Okay.
Amazing.
We're having a great time. Yes.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. Love you all.
Everyone, we love you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Christ.